Hey there! Welcome to another edition of Cambridge Inside Out. I'm Robert Winters.
I'm Judy Nathans.
And today is April 22nd.
No.
Did I say April?
You did.
Excuse me. It's
August
August
22nd.
22nd, 2016, and my brother Arthur is 60 years old today, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Anyway, Judy wasn't here last week.
No.
We had
lots of candidates. No, you had Fran.
We had a candidate and an aide. Actually, two aides, if you think, because Fran.
That's true.
Fran
But she
Cronin,
wasn't
while schools
speaking
worked for David
as an
Mock.
aide. She was speaking as a candidate.
As a school committee candidate, trying to regain her seat on the Cambridge School Committee.
Yes.
By the way, speaking of which, the Election Commission did send out the official list, finally, I think yesterday, of all the candidates on the ballot. The 26 city council
26
candidates.
Is that, and that's more than the 15 election, yeah? A couple more.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest one since 1993 when there were 29.
Wow.
But not the biggest.
No.
Biggest was like 83 or something.
That was when they first started.
1941, right?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but it's actually pretty important when they put out the official list. I won't name names here, but I say there was one year where they got, when they had already printed up the ballots and got one candidate's, an incumbent's, middle initial incorrect.
Uh-oh.
And that candidate raised holy hell, and they had to reprint all of the ballots. So
even though it wasn't confusing with another candidate, because sometimes that happens.
Not at all. No confusion at all.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous when things like that happen. So I think the election commission is very, very sensitive about making sure.
Proof it and get it corrected.
And I had a few little tiny errors. I spelled Cardinal Medeiros wrong, so I fixed that. So they put it out there, and then they basically send it so all the candidates can review. Okay. And if their candidates fail to catch a misspelling of their own name, tough niggies.
That's right. That's good. They send it out. Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is that becomes essentially the proof that then will go to the printer. Well, not exactly, because they got to do the ballot formatting and all of that stuff, and they still haven't figured out whether they're going to fit. I think they will be able to get
the 26
without reducing the number of rankings. Voters enabled to have.
And with the school committee, is it more than last time too?
Yeah, I think we went up from was it 9 or 10 up to 12 this time.
Well, you do have an open seat.
Yeah,
I don't know if they did.
3 open seats, or as we like to say, there's
3 open seats. What do you
on the council and one on the school committee.
Yeah.
But as we do like to always point out, these are at large elections, and everybody's up for re-election.
Yes,
so there are 9 open seats on the school committee, on the city council.
Right.
And 6 incumbents hoping to get their seat back.
Win it. Right.
Exactly. And there's going to be, I think a fair amount of competition for those.
Oh, absolutely.
In the meantime. So, and we'll get back to some more of the chat
election stuff
here. But we have actually had a couple of interesting things happen this week.
Yeah, in Cambridge.
Right. And I think we were at both of them.
Yes, we were. We were. You're right.
And the first was
They bring people together.
They certainly do. The last Thursday evening was the Oldtime baseball game, which is, I think it's about the 20th or 24th.
Yeah, they were trying. I remember the announcer trying to figure out when it was, or was that something else?
Yeah, it's been going on now for a couple decades, and and it's always a great time. It takes place up at St. Peter's Field every year, and this year we have a special guest, Pedro Martinez.
Yes,
former Red Sox great pitcher.
I know. I don't know how they snagged that one.
Steve Buckley, sports writer for the Boston Herald, and a Cambridge native through and through.
Yeah. He doesn't speak at these things, though. I didn't hear him speak at all.
Buck tries to play a bit of a background role.
Yeah, he certainly does.
In fact, I'll tell you, because when I was standing watching part of the game, he came by because he was actually checking out some of the ball players, some of the college ball players.
Yeah, there's
he
a lot of
sports writer after all.
Right.
And he was seriously checking out some of the players.
You mentioned a name that sounded familiar. I don't know if it's Matt Nuzzo. Do you know that name?
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
All right, heard that, but anyway.
So we have the son of the city auditor was the MVP last year in last year's game, and there are a bunch of local kids too. But it was really Pedro was the star attraction. Yeah, so much so that they didn't know how big a crowd. It was the biggest crowd I'd ever seen.
Really? It was?
Yeah. But the thing is that they had no idea whether, Pedro Martinez is such a draw.
Yeah.
They had no idea. So they just to preempt any trouble, they actually shut down Sherman Street
I saw that,
from
yeah.
Ridge Ave down to
Yes.
Walden.
Well,
and-
just for parking and getting here,
Yeah.
unless you're in a butter.
Well,
yeah.
and for emergency access and everything
True.
else, they had police stationed at the ends. And
Okay, so they don't do that every year.
No.
Ah.
So it was, pretty special.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to say, personally, just seeing Pedro on
Yeah.
the mound. I mean, he's 5 years out now from
Yes.
in retirement.
Well, he looks it, if you want to see
A
it.
little bit. Yeah, we have a few photos here.
Yeah.
But the thing is it was just so good seeing number 45
Yeah.
up on the mound.
Yeah, he
And
even hit,
you know,
he even hit, which I was
He
surprised.
went to
yeah.
bat, and there's something about just seeing him standing on the mound.
Yeah.
He takes that Pedro Martinez
Yeah.
stance.
Uh-huh.
He just, in many ways, he just looked just like the Pedro we
Well,
remember.
let's just
He went-
show it because I don't
Yeah,
remember
so-
what he looked like. So here's
So we can go
one.
back here. These photos were taken
Yeah, by
live.
my daughter,
Here we go.
professional photographer,
All right.
Sarah.
So
Now,
here's-
I don't know who that is.
I think that's Lou Merloni, who's another
no,
former.
that's not Lou Merloni.
Oh, I think it might be.
He looks so young.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be.
you know,
'Cause he was there. He's there every year, right?
Yeah. So they actually played together, on the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah. If I hit this, will it just
I
go
think
to the
if
next
you,
one?
I think if you just
Yeah,
click
there
on it,
we
it goes
go.
right to
Thank
the
you.
next one. Pedro was having such a
He
good
was.
time.
Yeah, he was having
And
a
I
good
saw
time.
bunches of interviews that he was giving to people,
Oh, yeah.
and what a delightful person he really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it just comes. I mean, he's so real. It just comes through and through and through.
Yep,
Right?
there he is.
And there he was,
Yeah.
and this, maybe he didn't have the velocity that he once had, but there
Right.
was something really familiar
Yeah.
about his stance
Yes.
as he pitched,
Yeah. I
right?
think there's one more. I think that's
Right?
yeah.
There's another one here, and I think there might be just one more
Is there
Pedro
one? Yeah,
here.
might be.
I think there is.
Oh yeah.
Right at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what was really great, I mean, he was scheduled, they said he was just going to pitch for an inning,
He did too. I
but
think,
he
right?
actually pitched 2 innings, and he came to bat,
I know. I was shocked.
right?
Oh my God, you don't want him to get hit now. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he came from Montreal when they were a National
That's
League
true.
team.
Oh, that's
so,
a good point. You're
so
right.
once upon a time he actually did bat
You're
in
right.
a game,
He retired with us. He didn't go somewhere, right?
He retired with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a difference.
I should have taken a picture from where I was, but I don't know if I had as good a camera for
yeah.
doing it. But
Yeah.
I was staring in from around third base and just seeing the 45.
Oh, you were on the other side. I
uniform
was on the
number.
other side. I was behind first base.
Man, it
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
so good to see.
Yeah. Weather was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was all great all around, and I don't think I'm going to be telling tales out of school, but I was actually walking with Will Durbin, who was a guest on this show last
that's right.
week. He was up there, and Will, some of you probably don't know this, Will also happens to be an umpire.
Oh.
He umpires games around the Boston area.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
For like adults, like adult leagues.
There's a
I know there's a
umpire
lot of adult leagues.
associations,
Oh,
and
okay.
he
Wow.
serves as an umpire. In fact, while I was standing with him, there was something happened, and he just instinctively actually called the guy out and
Oh,
did this
my
because
goodness.
if you're an umpire, you can't delay. You've got to make
Sure,
an
yeah.
instant
Oh,
call.
that's funny.
And then I'm standing with Will, and he just calls the play because
That's funny.
he can't help himself, right?
Wow.
But he's originally from Ohio, and what he said was, I think,
Yeah.
really kind of interesting. Is that you hang around City Hall and deal with
Sure.
the activists and whatever.
Yeah.
You don't always see this down home
Yeah.
part of real Cambridge.
Right.
You go to the
right.
ball game, the people
Yeah.
who show up there, there are a lot of like lifers.
Right. Or they probably don't even live in Cambridge anymore, but they come back
Some
for it.
people will come
Yeah,
back to
right.
be sure. And I think it was kind of a nice thing for him to see that there is this
Oh,
other side
right.
of Cambridge.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Of real people and
Sure.
they're not all just, hot and bothered about the issues of the day.
Hipsters,
They're
right.
just getting along and they're watching a baseball game,
Yeah.
So it was really pretty great. And that was the first of the exciting things over the past week.
Yes, it was.
The second one was, of course, yesterday, August
Yeah.
21st,
Where were
which
you,
was
everybody?
the day of
yeah.
where we had the big solar eclipse.
Yes.
Now-
Oh, thank you. You did get them. Good.
Yeah.
I should have told you who, but I can. I think
Yeah, I
it's
forgot
Borelli.
to mark it down.
Is her name?
But
Borelli, yeah.
so anyway, the thing was, we weren't in the path of totality for the solar
No,
eclipse.
63% was
We got
max.
63%.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it was really quite a phenomenon.
Yes.
Regardless,
Yes.
I think now people are already saying, what is it, 8 years or something like that?
No, it's 7 years, and
7
do you
years?
know it's going to be from Dallas to Maine, and we're going to be at
Maybe right.
93%.
Yeah. So and I think
We
if you
can
go
even
up to Burlington or
Yes,
something, you can be
I'm
right
making my
on the path of it.
reservations soon.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be
All
there.
right. Yeah.
But it was pretty great. And actually, what was kind of cool was
You've got a case?
well, Renee
What
had a
is
case.
this?
So I was looking around, well, where are we going to find those little funny goggles for doing this here?
And you forgot.
And I said to myself, wait a minute. When I taught out at Wellesley College, there was the astronomy gave out some of these
that doesn't look right.
glasses, and we went to something was up. It was an eclipse, a partial eclipse or an annular eclipse that was happening up in I think New Hampshire.
Was it a solar?
Yeah. So we all hopped in a van and we were given these little glasses to use for that. So
How come they're clear? I've never seen clear.
They're not clear.
Oh.
They're not clear. So I said, just to sort of what a pack rat I am, I said, well, geez, I think I had them. Where did I put those? And just physical memory. I said, I think I put them in a drawer right about here, and I just reached in.
That's amazing.
And there they were.
Because your house has lots of stuff.
Probably been sitting there unmoved in 10 years.
Good for you. And it's total dark, right? When you put it.
Total dark.
That's great.
So we actually have here.
Yeah. Well, I'd read all the things about making stuff, but I headed over to MIT, and I had a colander, I had cardboard, but they said, well, if you go to the person with a green shirt on, they're volunteers. They are going to be giving out glasses. There's going to be about 300 glasses. So I went to this woman who looked very friendly. I said, I'm going to just stick with you. And so she kept moving along, and then she had to get to a bigger group, and then they all spread out all of a sudden. I lost her.
Yeah.
So I kind of walked fast after one of them, and I yelled, senior citizen. I mean, I was right around her. I think I would have gotten it, but I said, senior citizen, and I got one. So I shared it. Yeah. So there's some nice photos.
They also had telescopes set up on the
there were a couple lines
oval.
for that. People didn't know what they were lining up for, but you could actually see flares and things.
Yeah, actually one person I know who works at the Harvard Smithsonian, he was there with
his... people brought incredible stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And actually we have a few photos here. Just so
and we don't have her name, but there was a woman I was sitting next to, Linda, I think it's Borelli. And so thank you, Linda. She was trying to take them of the eclipse with her camera.
So there's Judy in the upper left.
Yeah, she took that one of me with the glasses on, and then these were people around us with
some pretty serious celestron telescopes.
Exactly, but it was hot. But other than that, it was wonderful to be there.
Yeah. Let's scroll down a little bit here.
Oh, are there more? Did you? There's some of yours, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
my gosh.
Just so people understand what a hilarious party it was, because again, it was only 63% of the sun was occluded.
Yeah, and it didn't even look like it got later than like a 4 o'clock at night. But
it was really just became this event for people to gather.
You couldn't miss.
So this is just a shot.
That's
looking out at the whole crowd in there.
Yeah, much bigger than I thought. Yeah. Is there another one?
Yeah. I think I got about 4.
It's not clicking on that. Yeah.
It's not a click. You got to scroll down here. And there's Renee.
That is. I was wondering who that was. Dark Side of the Moon. Oh, that's funny.
What was kind of funny is she wasn't the only one who was wearing a kind of thematic shirt.
Yeah.
Anybody who had something with a sun on and a moon on or whatever. So Renee has this one from Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, neat.
So she dusted that off and brought that out there for this.
Hot though.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
now how did you get these?
Now, so for this one here, people who were, they just had their iPhones. Now the thing is, if you could put the screens over your iPhone,
right?
But you're not going to zoom in on that, so it ended up just looking like a white dot. But I had a regular digital camera that you could zoom in, so it was actually pretty tricky to do it.
Yeah, how did you do that?
Well, you had to first locate it without it being zoomed in, and carefully holding the screen, the filter over it, and then zoom in and kind of hold it in the frame.
You did it very well.
Until you finally catch it.
Now, but it actually was orange when you looked at it through the lens, right? Mine was always orange.
It's a different type of filter.
That's probably what it was, right?
So a lot of the ones that were given out just happen to have an orange one. The ones I had
what it was.
were a different material. But again, I assume since they were given out by the astronomy department at Wellesley College, that they were
the ones that you had,
Yeah.
Well, you'll find out in a couple of days, they said.
Yeah. Is that what the duration
Well,
is?
they said, the optometrists are wondering, okay.
Really? Yeah, they were saying things, how to know if you actually just destroyed your retinas, right?
Well,
But it was,
the woman I was with said she met someone who, when he was 15, which is what, let's see, 1979 was the last big one, and he was 15, and he just stared at it because he was 15, and he has permanent retinal sunspots. Yeah, so
yeah.
I hope the
Actually,
kids were safe.
it was interesting, you know, just sort of the way national politics are working. So,
oh gosh,
the first ones I see, image I see is of the president sort of staring directly at the eclipse, right?
He was like on the balcony there in his suit, and his son was wandering around.
And I thought, well, that's sort of weird, right?
He isn't really looking at it.
But then I actually see the actual recording of what happened.
Did he?
They were all wearing the filter glasses completely until the very end. Oh, okay. When at the end he just Trump takes off the glasses and then just takes a quick look back, and of course that's the picture they show.
Oh, that's funny.
Just so see, look at him, he's just staring into the sun. Actually,
they had I think an 80% down there. Yeah, the further south you went.
You know, the thing that I remembered from seeing an annular eclipse that passed directly over New York City when I was a kid. Yeah. Was this really kind of eerie light.
That's what everyone said that was in more the zone.
Yeah, and it was just the tiniest little hint.
Was it during the summer? See, it's also
this was summer.
The one that's going to happen in 7 years is in April, so that'll be interesting. It won't be as hot. It might be even cold if you go up north, but yeah. Or you could go every 18 months around the world. People don't realize that. It happens every year and a half. They say there's a total solar eclipse.
Actually, it's actually even more frequent.
Really, a total solar eclipse? Whereas totality?
Yeah, I think there was an eclipse. I think about 4 times a year for a solar eclipse. But
totality is
one where it actually where the disk of the moon matches.
Exactly, and I don't know when the lunar ones are.
They're very frequent. I see them all the time. Yeah.
All the time.
No, they're actually kind of cool to watch. Well, actually, speaking of lunar eclipses, since we're both Red Sox fans, I just want to remind people that in 2004, this is when we had to break the curse.
Yes.
Right, the curse of the Bambino.
Yeah, I think.
I remember pointing out to my Harvard Extension School class that after the Red Sox had beat the Yankees, and now they had to go to St. Louis to go in the World Series. I said, well, it's not going to happen. They're not going to sweep St. Louis, but if they do, they'll be playing in the middle of a total lunar eclipse.
Is that true? Did that happen?
What happened? The Red Sox swept St. Louis, and they won the World Championship.
Wow!
While the moon was in the lunar eclipse.
That's something.
And I thought, it takes a lot of things to fall into place to break a curse. You see?
Right. So that's true. Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, I was trying to figure out the significance of this having just been the United States where we totally blocked out the sun, and I'm thinking it's got to be a message in there somewhere about our politics, but I didn't want to.
Maybe so.
It did, yeah.
All right.
So let's leave that alone. So that was really nice events. It's funny, neither one of us did the one on Saturday. Which
there was the big event. I mean, I actually find it sort of an interesting sociological phenomenon. Because obviously horrible things happen in Charlottesville. And it's interesting because people were saying afterwards, okay, so what was the rally about? The counter protest.
You're talking about
the one here in Boston on Saturday, right?
It was
the
rising.
I think that's really.
I think the march from Roxbury made a lot of sense. That was the one I think, but there were people coming from other places that gathered at other parts that I think maybe caused some trouble.
I think there was one Globe columnist actually said something interesting, but it was interesting because people were kind of defining it after the fact.
True.
Which in other words, normally if you're going to have a rally, you say this is the purpose of the rally. You have a rally and say this is what we did. Yeah. Right. This is one where it was a little unclear.
Preempted everything.
But one Globe columnist was basically saying this is almost like a statement from Boston, sort of shedding a bit of its own sort of troubled racial past.
I read that one. Yeah,
right, but I don't think people were thinking that when they were going to it. But after the fact, the
we are not racist.
Yeah, the myth making, which is a part of a lot of things, sort of fit well together that way. It was sort of ironic, as I think another columnist wrote, that in the end, the particular people who were the free speechers or whatever,
50 people.
Turned out actually there wasn't a white supremacist in the bunch.
No, and also from what I heard, they didn't want to leave at 10-1. They were kind of put away.
Yeah. And I think as Dan Kennedy was pointing out, the rather bad precedent that public safety trumped pardon the term, but
Yeah, really.
public safety trumped free speech in the sense that
I think
the
they,
people who were at the bandstand and the common
they had barricades all around them.
all
You couldn't
around,
get
so
near
that
them.
in fact, you know, and the amplification, I think they didn't have the amplification, so.
Well, that was their own doing. You don't
Right.
have to have amplification.
But even if you did have some amplification,
Yeah.
nobody was going to be able to hear you at that distance.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
in
They really
in
tried to
essence,
prevent any coming
Yeah.
together, which sort of defeated.
I actually
yeah.
agree with that. Is
Yeah.
creating the barricades, keeping people apart. But you know, there is kind of a problem with infringement of free speech,
Yeah.
nonetheless.
But you know, people
Hopefully
didn't have
everybody
to.
will learn from it.
I mean, they had a demonstration May 12th, and nobody protested that really because
Yeah.
it just went and came and went.
Yeah.
And Walsh was even saying, just don't come to this. But I mean, I'm glad the
Right.
people that marched.
Right.
and,
I
to
was
show up,
speaking to a
but-
police officer
Yeah.
2 days before,
Boston
and
police.
I got some of the inside dope about
Yeah.
what they were concerned about, because there had been
I see.
reports
Yeah.
that there were people were going to be going there with bottles filled with
Well,
acid.
did you read the thing today though about the bulletproof vest that they confiscated from some people?
Yeah.
And then guns.
Yeah.
So
You know,
I mean, yeah,
I mean,
it's 6-1.
That's the way I look at
Right.
it. Is you put
You had to be-
20,000 people
exactly.
together, you know, and
Right.
and,
And you get
who are
some
charged,
nuts that are gonna
and,
come out.
and there's some
Which
supercharged
were
people
probably
there.
not the people on that bandstand.
Right.
It's other people
Yeah.
that want to support
Yeah.
them.
So there's some of the anarchists are going to be there, but you know they've been coming
Exactly.
around for 100 years. So the
Right.
anarchists, right?
And it could be.
They're
both
not. That's
sides.
not a new problem,
No.
right? But anyway,
Yeah.
it was kind of
So-
interesting that was sandwiched in between this wonderful baseball
I
game
know.
and this
Which were
really
events that had nothing to do
and the
with
Eclipse
politics.
brought together people all
It
across the
did.
country, and
I
it was
know.
completely
In
apolitical, and
places,
it was wonderful.
Wyoming and Illinois.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So you know,
So
we'll get we'll all get along here.
yeah.
Um,
So now we have to get to
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about the local
scene.
the local scene. Actually, there's one thing I was going to show a photo, but I don't think there's a need for it. But I will
What?
at least mention.
Photo what?
Well, the Vale Court. Okay, so
Do you have a
there-
photo? There's
so
no
the
photo
city
of that.
took by eminent domain the
Oh.
Vale Court housing over on
Bishop Allen
Bishop
Drive.
Allen, and it was supposed to be demolished. I think maybe
Friday.
like I think it was this week.
Oh,
And then the
Okay.
word went out on Friday. There was a restraining, or not a whatever you call it, an injunction to stop
yeah.
the demolition. Supposedly, the previous owners saying that we want an opportunity to go in and
And get our
retrieve
things.
stuff,
Yeah.
which seems to me just like a stalling tactic.
Yeah.
I think there is a valid case that should be adjudicated in terms of what the fair compensation was. And maybe they're just stalling to sort of get that legal process going. I'm just guessing there.
Yeah. Don't.
But
We don't know.
but
My feeling is if they accepted money already, agreed to it, that should be it. But
yeah, but
I don't know.
the thing is that the city basically writes the check, so they don't.
but if
So
they
they-
already wrote it,
Well, I mean, you can accept the check, but not deposit
we
it.
don't know any of this,
So
folks.
you-
So if you
right.
do, let Robert
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, no,
Shoot 'em
I'm
along.
curious about it. But
Yeah.
but anyway, so you know things are a little bit delayed. Injunctions
It's
like this
unfortunate,
do
yeah.
not last very long,
Yeah.
so this will probably get settled within
I hope
days. And I think people in the area would love to see the building torn down.
Speaking of this area and construct, do you know when Mass and Main is supposed to break ground, or have they done anything? It's right over there. I know.
They're actually, it was supposed to happen soon, but what happened over in Mass and Main is that they're proceeding with the demolition of the parking garage on Bishop Allen Drive first.
Okay.
So that's being
Also,
torn
Bishop
down
is
right
at
now.
one other end, and then you have that's interesting.
Right, so
They're
that's
gonna
sort
do
of
demolish
behind-
and demolish.
Well, they're going to knock that down. I
Yeah.
think they'll start building the house here, and then they'll kind of move forward to the Mass Ave part.
I'm just saying you've got two demolition things going on. Maybe.
Well, there's actually another one too, which is that
In that
the
area?
Public Works is going to have to drop a deep shaft to run a storm drain.
Oh, that was the
underneath.
big issue, right?
Yeah, they got to go underneath the
So
MVP
they figured out how
tunnel.
they're going to do it.
I don't know that it's completely settled, but
Yeah.
that's going to be happening simultaneously because there's going to be a big storage tank being built in there.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
anyway, some exciting things happening
Yeah,
here
a
around
lot
Central
of-
Square.
And,
And actually, might as well say a few more things about Central Square.
Yeah.
You know, since I'm on the Central Square Advisory Committee, one of the kind of annoying things for a while has been these things they call area ways, which are these hollow spaces under the sidewalks. And as a result, there's really just a really thin sidewalk. People, if they
what do you mean hollow spaces?
Like in front of the Citizens Bank.
Yeah.
As in front of Teddy's Shoes.
Yeah.
It's just basically slate over some steel and then air underneath you. You're actually just walking on a thin slab when you walk over those.
I didn't know that.
And in some places where bricks were laid down or concrete panels, they don't last because they're just paper thin.
Wow.
So they're now doing the repair work over at the Citizens Bank. They've got some some steel plates in there, and they're doing some work underground. And it's all fenced off in front of Teddy's Shoes. And over by where the old Purity, now I sound like the old timer, where the old Purity Supreme used to be.
Jeez, where was that?
And near where the elevator is for the T.
Yeah.
On the inbound side. That's all fenced off too. Right now, it's like Central Square feels like
Oh, wait a
it's
minute,
all
you're right. I had to go to the bank. Well, that was on the other side, though. I had to go.
Right, so they replaced the bricks with
right
concrete.
in front of CVS, they're doing
right in front
something.
of CVS.
Yes,
So I think it's wisely they replaced the brick with concrete.
Okay.
We love our brick in Cambridge, but the truth is that it was wavy and terrible, and I think what they're going to do is they're going to have it be concrete with a brick apron around it, so
also for
stylishly look okay, but
for
be safer.
challenged like
You
wheelchairs and
you
stuff,
have to
not
meet
too good.
ADA, and honestly, the way it was built before, it would meet those standards for a while and then fail to meet them because everything would shift again.
Right.
So it'll be a lot more long lasting now. So anyway, Central Square is shaping up a little bit.
The BU Bridge is open.
BU Bridge is open. And actually, one last thing to say here in the last 30 seconds on Central Square is that we have yet again another incarnation of the Central Square Flea, Central Flea, happening this Sunday afternoon.
Oh, didn't get any notice about it.
Right there at Bishop Allen and Prospect Street.
It's a nice thing to visit.
And it's been really successful for the two that they've done.
I like the food trucks, a lot of food trucks.
A lot of food trucks, and they're going to be carrying on right until late October. So, anyway, we'll be back in 3 minutes with Cambridge Inside Out.
Bye.